Hello everybody and welcome to What About the Game. Today I'm going to be talking about Yoshi's Woolly World, which has been out in Europe for quite a while now, but has just been released in North America. The review has just gone up online on whataboutthegame.com, so go and check that out if you want a full run through of the game. Today I'm just going to be talking about why I think Yoshi's Woolly World is the best Yoshi game. First, I want to talk about the art style, which is very striking. They've gone for the wolf theme, similar to Kirby's Epic Yarn, but this one is much more full. It's much more thought out, much more realized than that game. And it looks absolutely amazing. You know, Nintendo have recently gone for some very odd art styles, like with Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. They went for the claymation art style. Here they've gone back to the woolly style, and it's great. It's absolutely beautiful. It suits Yoshi perfectly because the whole world looks great. The enemies in their woolly style look amazing. They look like they should have already been this way. It also gave the developers a lot of creativity to do with the levels. For example, like uncovering hidden areas. There's little strands of yarn hanging out, which indicates that there's a hidden area there, and you can swallow that little strand and unravel the area. Just things like that. And covering wireframe enemies in the wool will make them a fully realized thing, like the chain chomps. Chain chomps are actually just like this wireframe kind of thing. If you wrap them in wool, then allows you to push them and roll them and press switches and things like that. So I think this woolly theme gave the developers a lot of things to work with. The gameplay is pretty standard for a Yoshi game. It's a 2D side-scroller, so you start at one end of the level and you make your way to the other end using Yoshi's various moves, such as his flutter jump, which makes him able to jump just that little bit higher than normal. He also has a standard ground pound, and he can also swallow enemies, which in previous games allowed him to digest them and turn them into an egg, which if you think about that is actually gross. But anyway, in this game however, because of the woolly theme, instead of eggs, they turn into balls of wool, which you can fire into the air like the eggs before. But this time you can make new platforms, like there'll be a wireframe and you can throw the wool ball and it'll create this new platform for you to jump on and maybe even like reach a new area. Instead of destroying enemies, the wool balls will actually wrap them up, tie them up and incapacitate them, but they're not fully finished off. You have to go there yourself, and just seeing all the different enemies wrapped up in yarn, struggling to get out, is absolutely adorable. It's great. Along the way you have to collect various things in typical Yoshi style. So in each level there are actually 5 flower heads, and if you collect 5 flower heads in every level in one world, then that will grant you a new secret level, which is actually much more difficult. You can also collect 5 bundles of yarn, which if you get 5 in each level, then that will give you a new Yoshi skin, like a new costume kind of thing. Like in one of the early levels, if you collect 5, then it'll give you a Shy Guy skin. Looks kind of terrifying, but it's all fun. There's so many different colors, so many different styles, and that's one of the things I really liked, was to see what other skins there were to unlock. In previous Yoshi games you were tasked with collecting 20 red coins, but in this game it's actually changed a little. Instead of red coins, now you collect Miiverse patches. There's 20 in each level, and at certain intervals, for example if you collect 100 in total, it will grant you some new stickers to use on Miiverse. For me that's not really that interesting, but I know a lot of people love to use Miiverse. For me, the feature that actually makes this game more enjoyable than the original is the fact that after each level, the game will remember what you've already collected. In the previous games, you had to, if you wanted to 100% a level, you had to 100% it in that one go. You couldn't go back and just collect the things that you missed. You'd have to collect everything again, which that really put me off, because yes, it was a challenge, but it was also a chore. It wasn't enjoyable to do the same things and then keep failing and having to do everything again. I did not enjoy that. This game makes it a breeze. It makes it fun. It gives you motivation to want to go back and collect the things you missed. You know, it feels like it's rewarding you, not punishing you. And that's just one of the things that makes Yoshi's Woolly World feel more refined than the original for me. The game's not particularly difficult, especially for experienced gamers. I don't think anybody would have trouble completing the levels all the way through. However, maybe younger or less experienced gamers might find it a little challenging, maybe after the halfway point. But that's not to say that they can't actually continue to enjoy the game, because Nintendo like to make their games as accessible as possible. So they've added features in that can alleviate the difficulty for you depending on what you're actually finding difficult. The first thing are things called badges, which you can equip before the start of each level. You can buy them, not with real money of course, but they can change the rules in that particular level. For example, they can make Yoshi have a higher defense. They can make him immune to lava or something. You know, and that can really help, you know, younger gamers who want to get through the game, but you know, they just need a little help, a little push. Personally, I did not use any badges on my first go through the game. You know, I went from the first level to the last level without using any. But I found them extremely useful for when I wanted to go back, replay levels and collect the little things that I missed. I found them very useful for that. For those who are really struggling with the game, for very small children I guess, there's a thing called mellow mode, which practically makes Yoshi invincible and fly and things like that. Most gamers would not need to touch this, but it's there for those who need it. There's also a co-op mode, which, you know, I think is good if parents want to play with their children. You know, the parent can help out a little. But also, I mean, anybody can have fun with the co-op because it is actually quite crazy, quite fun. It's actually different. You know, it plays a lot differently if you have two people rather than one. Maybe it does feel a little tacked on, but there's, you know, you can definitely have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, so I think Yoshi's Woolly World is the best Yoshi game, which is quite surprising considering what a kind of troubled development it's had. You know, it was announced very early on, and then it went quiet for ages. You know, then it got a release date, and then it got delayed, and there was no news. And considering past Yoshi games, I didn't have too many hopes for it, but I'm very happy with the game, and I'm very glad I played it. So if you liked hearing me mumble about Yoshi's Woolly World, be sure to like and subscribe. It will really help me out, really motivate me to make more content. Be sure to add me on Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to check the website below. Thanks guys.